It's tough, man. I mean, for anybody that's listening that has been at their, what you could call rock bottom, it feels like there's so much weight on top of you that no matter what you do, you can't get out, but you know you need to do something. And it's a helpless feeling. And that's really what it was for me. It was a helpless feeling of knowing that I have to move, but it's like when I was sitting in the chair and I needed to stand up to keep finishing the race, but I couldn't. That's kind of like what rock bottom felt for me like at that point in time.
That's how I kind of describe depression, as it's never been a thing that I totally deal with.
Big time.
I've had moments.
Yeah.
But it to me is the same as chronic pain. It was that I always had this thing tugging at me for my attention.
Yeah.
And the problem for me is I can't deal with it without surgery.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can just say, okay, today I'll fucking sort this out.
Yeah.
And that's what those big moments in life are, man. Like you can't get away from them.
Yeah.
And some just take time.
Yep.
You know, my dad passing away was big, you know, any of those type of things, right? Like there's things that just take time to sort out.
Yeah. And spending time each day to sorting through it, even when it's uncomfortable or even when you don't want to do it, like you still got to just swing the axe at it every single day. And that was something that I did, is like, once I started to get my life back on track, I started doing little things every day physically, first off, because I knew that when I would put myself in an uncomfortable situation or swing the axe physically, that it had that carryover into what I choose to eat for that day, or how much I chose to smile, or how much I chose to reach out to somebody who I needed to talk to about something.
It builds positive momentum.
Right. And from a physical standpoint, I mean, that was the thing that was really like the catalyst to me getting my life back on track, was putting myself in those physical situations where I needed to perform.
Yeah.
Even if it was like just a little bit, like when I first started running and I was 30 pounds overweight around that same time in January, I would go run for a quarter mile. And that's all I could do at that time. But that quarter mile gave me momentum to come back the next day and try to get another quarter mile and another quarter mile until I actually built up enough endurance to run a full mile in the mountains.
See, and it's so crazy, right? Like, 'cause it's so easy for someone on the outside looking in, including me, to be like, well, Dan's a runner.
Right. Right.
It wasn't a thing you had to build from scratch.
Right.
You're a runner.
Right.
Meanwhile, you build from scratch.
Hey, man. I was at my rock bottom. I was 30 pounds overweight. I was living at my mother's house in the downstairs room because I wasn't able to, control my life anymore. I was engaged at the time, and we called off the wedding because I wasn't a good partner anymore.
Sure.
And it still stings to say, but like I wasn't the best dad at that time either.
Well, how could you be?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's an honest realization, right? But how could you be?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No one, it's one thing to be in a mental tough spot.
Right.
And drowning mentally. And then it's another that then you're financially drowning.
Sure.
Like it's like we have enough trouble sorting shit out and things are going great.
Yeah.
Also
right.
Part of things going great buys free time to question existential shit.
Yes.
So
yes.
Thank you. But it does bring up more things to consider. But when someone is in that thing where they're in a bad spot because of this death of a mentor, this role model, this puzzle piece that you don't know how to fill. And you sure at that age don't understand that you'll fill it, but it'll be multiple people that take that role.
Yes.
And then drowning financially at the same time. You just can't tread water. You can't.
No.
You just can't do it. Anything's too much. And there's always something.
Yep.
There's never a free pass.
Yep.
And it's so tough to build that positive momentum to get enough steam going to overcome the next little thing and not let it bury you again.
Right. And that's what running ultimately did, is kind of like got that momentum going for me, because for anybody that's ever experienced depression at a large scale, 24 hours out of the day, you feel like the world is on top of your shoulders and you can't get out of the chair no matter what. But when I would go into the mountains and I would spend that quarter-mile running, and that little part of the day was freedom. It was like everything. It was peace for me, while the rest of the day I was feeling like the world was on my shoulders. I had this one brief moment of peace and quiet. And it was in those moments where it became addicting to want to go back to, because I knew that I could get a few minutes of peace. Right now, it's crazy because with running, what you don't realize, or what I didn't realize, was I wasn't doing the running part, and I wasn't experiencing the run as the thing that was making me feel better. Yes, it was cool, like moving my body again, but what was really helping my healing was getting those good hormones flowing again. And that's
there's a chemical change that needs to happen too for happiness.
100%. And when you're depressed, you don't have those good hormones, the happy hormones flowing as often.
No, that negative. Well, that, and you have cortisol levels go up, so testosterone drops. There's tons, right?
Big time.
We can correlate a lot of things.
A lot happens.
The answer isn't always replacing the hormones, right? The hormone depletion sometimes is a symptom of a thing.
Sure.
So we have to fix the thing, not fix a symptom.
Yep.
And we do that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Weight loss pills instead of better food.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, that's the easy fix, but getting down to the root of it, I think is what really helps for me anyways, to get going, was just getting out there every day and just getting those good hormones flowing and putting myself in nature, which, if you've never been in nature before, you don't spend a lot of time there and you're in a low spot right now. I think that just putting yourself in nature, even if it's at a park, a city park, will do so much for your mental to help you to kind of find some momentum to move forward.